Call the December board meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion.
Mr. Brown makes a motion. Mr. Quinn seconds. All in favor, show of hands. It's easy to count tonight. Flea Bug's got the board too. Citizen statements.
Thank you, Mr. President. The district has not received any requests for citizens' participation per board policy BDDH.
Written communications.
There are no written communications either.
Military update.
Good evening. I am Megan O'Donohue representing Fort Leonard Wood this evening. And I have just a few announcements for everybody. The 399th Army Band would like to invite you all to enjoy a holiday concert, absolutely free and open to the public, December 15th, Thursday at 7 p.m. at Nutter Fieldhouse. This is considered a special event, therefore it is open to the entire community to enjoy, and again, absolutely free. They are a phenomenal band. This will be held at Nutter Fieldhouse, easy to find from the front gate. Follow the blue line, and you can't miss it. As part of this community outreach program, the USO, which is right next door to Nutter Fieldhouse, is also going to open up to the community, and they are going to offer a family craft night. They'll have some ornament stations and letters to Santa, and they will also have some cookies and cocos that families can enjoy before walking across to Nutter Fieldhouse to enjoy the concert. So please join us. They are an amazing band, as I had said, and once again, December 15th, 7 p.m., at Nutter Fieldhouse. Follow that blue line on Fort Leonard Wood, and prior to, at 5 o'clock, enjoy some family activities at the USO. As a reminder, holiday block leave is right around the corner. Some things on Fort Leonard Wood will reduce in scope, so the rule of thumb, check the website, either Fort Leonard Wood's or the community website, MWO, or make a call before you come out, as things tend to slow down during that period as we allow our service members to enjoy their families during this time. And finally, on behalf of General Bonner, Command Sergeant Major Del Pena, our garrison team, Colonel Polio and Command Sergeant Major Castleberry, we wish you all a very happy holiday season, and we cannot wait to continue this amazing partnership in 2023. So Happy New Year as well.
Thank you very much.
Pending any of your questions.
Nope. Thank you, and send our regards back to the general and all the staff.
Will do.
District announcements.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to welcome our teams from the Waynesville 6th Grade Center and Parker Educational Center to tonight's board meeting. I look forward to hearing your spotlight on education. Freedom Elementary will host their choir concert at 7 p.m. on Thursday, December 15th at the Waynesville High School Auditorium. The Route 66 Shootout will be held December 16th and 17th with 8 teams playing 7 games in the 2-day event. The cost is $6 per person for 1 day or $10 per person for the 2-day event. Games begin at 4 p.m. on the 16th and 11 a.m. on Saturday. All individuals over the age of 5 will need to purchase tickets, as these are not regularly seasoned games. There will be no school on December 19th through 30th for winter break. Students will return to the classroom on Monday, January 2nd. Ooh, I about extended break there. January 2nd, 2023. There also will be no school on January 16th, 2023. I want to congratulate Melissa Vernon for being named South Central Distinguished Principal of the Year. She will move on to the state selection process for the Missouri Elementary Distinguished Principal of the Year, and we're super, super proud of her accomplishments. The Waynesville JROTC will host the 8th annual inter-service drill competition on January 21st at Waynesville High School. And during this holiday season, I just want to give thanks to our community, especially for those who have volunteered and donated to Snack in a Pack. We have had nearly 675 students that will have a better holiday because of your donations, so thank you very much for that. Next, I'd also like to thank our students and their families for our awesome team of teachers. We received our MAP scores back, and we were leading amongst the other conference schools in many, many areas. We were the top scorer in 14 of 19 grade levels and of course, exam categories. Additionally, our focus groups outperformed the state average in 18 out of 19 categories. We still have work to do, but these scores demonstrate just how outstanding our team is. And I just want to note that behind these numbers are students learning, which is why we're here and the most important thing. And it's a lot of hard work of our staff that goes into getting them there. So I'm very, very proud. And thank you all very, very much. And then with that, I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday, and I hope everybody gets the much-deserved rest that's needed.
All right, thank you. Also want to add congratulations to Miss Marianne Ward for graduating college again
Yes.
with her master's, so congratulations. Do I have a motion to approve consent agenda? Good Lord.
It's okay.
Got cold, I'm going to take a break. Consent agenda items A through H.
I would make that. I'll second.
Mr. Quinn makes a motion, Farrell second, all in favor show of hands. Motion carries. And we will move to JROTC Raider Nationals, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. In November, our Waynesville JROTC Raider team participated in the U.S. Army Raider National Championships Masters Division in Molina, Georgia. The team earned first place in the first rope bridge and placed 7th overall in the competition in a field of over 120 teams. We are so very proud of our JROTC Raiders. Colonel Williams is going to help me with passing out certificates, so he's going to call our JROTC members up to receive their certificates. After you get your certificate, you'll step over there, and Mrs. Ward will help us out with getting you set up for a photo. Congratulations.
Nathaniel Copeland. Dominic Chamberlain. Mason Duke. Daniel Ash. Haley Garcia. Adelie Higdon. Avery Higdon. Damon Plotner. Luke Pullman. Kiera Regal. Zach Remedies. Noah Sipe. Peyton Stort. and William Tabor.
Can call him out on that.
Congratulations again. And I'd like to encourage everybody, if you get a chance to see them in action, do it. You can follow them on their social. This is a plug for them, but you can follow them on their social media. They put a lot of videos of their competitions, and they are a fantastic group of young men and young women. We're very proud of them. Thank you. We'll move the spotlight on education, the 6th grade center spotlight, Mrs. Justice.
Perfect. Good evening. Tonight, our spotlight on education for the 6th grade center. Our spotlight on education for our certified staff is Mrs. Mitchell. She's new to our building this year and is the essence of an amazing paraprofessional. She brings energy to WSGC that is welcoming, positive, and fun. She works as an ABT paraprofessional to give support to students who are struggling to be successful in the school and classroom setting. She cares deeply for each and every student at WSGC and is always striving to find new strategies to help those students that need a little extra support and attention. She is positive, kind, and friendly when encountering any situation she is given. Often she has multiple students in varying situations on her plate at once, and continuously she is able to do her best to give each student what they need to be successful in the school setting. Even on challenging days, she strives to be the calm in every occurrence. We are blessed to have her on our staff this year at WSGC. Our spotlight on education for our certified staff is Mrs. McNutt. She is a valuable asset to our WSGC family and is by far one of the hardest workers at WSGC. She always has a smile and kind word to greet everyone she encounters. She approaches every situation with an open mind and is continuously thinking what is best for kids in her decision-making process. This year, she is part of the school's specials schedule and meets with students 3 weeks as a class to administer lessons that help our students not only grow as academic learners, but as whole children, focusing on social emotional learning. Anytime myself or a team has had a concern regarding a student, she meets with them as soon as possible. Students feel that she is an approachable adult that they can trust and confide in. She always has a smile on her face, a positive attitude, and conducts herself in a professional manner. She is constantly striving to ensure that students have all the tools they need to feel successful and to accomplish their goals. Mrs. McNutt steps up to the plate, whether it's in helping with the creation of Hope Squad, ensuring that students have school supplies, or helping to cover lunch duties. There is not a more kind, gracious, or generous person, and we are ecstatic that she is part of the WSGC family.
The team that we are going to recognize this evening is our science team. Angie Wilson, Jonathan Durrett, Abby Swearingen, Mindy Maisie, Michael Craig, and Robin Woolsey make up our science team. You guys can come forward. This is a newly formed team with only one returning science teacher. The newly formed team has successfully risen to meet many challenges that often face a new team. They have enthusiastically celebrated with one another to develop a pacing guide and lessons strongly rooted in their science curriculum and one that they can take ownership in. They are making great strides and showing tremendous growth as teachers and as a team. This team has given 3 post-assessments in which they have shown scores about 75%. The team is always looking for new ways to challenge and encourage students to set and obtain their personal and class goals. This team showed 79% growth from pre-test to post-test for natural hazards, which was the very first standard of the year. This team has also obtained 88% proficiency in advanced on their most current unit, biotic and abiotic factors. This is an amazing achievement. This team deserves to be recognized and celebrated for these achievements and for many more reasons. Tonight, we are going to recognize our Parker preschool staff. This team includes Heather Cobb, Mariah Osborne, Liz Bulmer, Marissa Kane, Sue Beatty, and Angie Piltz. These highly motivated professionals have come together to create an exciting and engaging full-day preschool program for their students through engaging hands-on activities, enhancing and building on their students' educational strengths as they work with their students to meet their social and emotional needs in order to prepare their students for kindergarten. This team works tirelessly to engage students in learning and ensures students meet and surpass their proficiency goals. ELA and math standards for preschool are year-long standards and often require a full year of learning to reach proficiency.
Second quarter project teach award, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Mike Freeman from Ed Morris Ford, St. Robert, is here tonight to present this quarter's $100 award.
Mrs. Smith, are you here with us this evening? Come around up here. Well, what an honor it is for me to be here, and thank you for allowing Ed Morris Ford to represent your great teachers. And I think you have a wonderful staff at the school district and an awesome job. And we're going to recognize you tonight for the outstanding job that you've done in the classroom. And let me share with you about what her project was, and that's what I love about these teachers. They go above and beyond. So let me share with you exactly what happened. At Wood Elementary, there were 20 to 25 fourth graders and 20 to 25 second graders that participated in this project. The project was called Becoming Entrepreneurs. And so during our fourth grade social studies unit, students will participate in Becoming Entrepreneur activities to support the following standards. Number 1, explain the relationship between profit and loss in economic decisions. Conduct a public cost-benefit analysis, and distinguish among natural capital and human resources for our fourth grade and second grade students. So 5 groups of 4 to 5 fourth grader students will create a small business plan that includes identifying a product made of paper that the businesses will sell, the resources needed to produce that product, and creating a budget. The students then will create products such as bookmarks, poppers, masks, paper airplanes, and spit wads. Did you put that in? You didn't put that in there. Okay. That was when I was in school. Okay. Very good. So from that, they would then create these products, and then the businesses will purchase these items from their local supply store, which would be, in this case, Mrs. Smith. The business plan will be displayed on a trifold poster board. This is very small. That must display the business's name, the business logo, their slogan, the product, description and prices, and a printed ad. The products will be created and available for purchase, listen to this, from the second grade students. The fourth and the students will then get this money from paper money that they will purchase to help this. So the great idea behind this is that she has taken a social studies class and moved it into economics class. And if you had economics in college, as most of us probably have, she's moved this to a grade school level, fourth graders and second graders participating in how to make a business plan and make it work. That's over the top. Ladies and gentlemen, your second quarter teacher of the quarter for the Waynesville School District, Ms. Tanisha Smith. From that, we have a $100 check to help support her projects, to help her buy these items, to make these paper airplanes and these spit wads. So good job. Great.
Congratulations again. Thank you, Mike. We missed you last time. You confused us. The Transportation Employee of the Month, Mr. Tronstad.
For our December Employee of the Month, I've chosen Leanne Myers. She's one of our bus aides that's been with us for a little over 2 years. She goes the extra mile with her children. It's one thing to work, and do your job to transport safely, but to go above that. She had an instance where she had a student that, I guess she said, need to modify their behavior a little bit. And she gave them an incentive, if they did that the entire week, that she would bring them in on a Saturday, purchased a pumpkin and cookies and a drink for the students, and did that on her own time there and carved pumpkin with the students. These are just the type of things, I think, that where you take your job just a little bit extra. You never have to follow up on any tasks she's assigned. She'll always greet you in the morning, with a smile and how your day's going. And she's been amazing since day one. I've worked with her since she started. So I would like to congratulate and thank Leanne Myers for choosing the Transportation Department to make a difference in children's lives.
All right, community recognitions, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. This month, the district would like to recognize Ursula Labodia and Kirsten Ellis, representatives of Rotary Club of Pulaski County. The Rotary Club of Pulaski County has been a great community partner with Waynesville schools for many years. Each month, the Rotary Club of Pulaski County recognizes a Waynesville middle school and high school student as Student of the Month. They donate to Snack in a Pack as well as many other contributions. Thank you so much for your continued support of Waynesville schools.
Okay, congratulations again to all of our staff and students that received recognition tonight. We'll move to discussion items. Construction project update, Dr. Cobb.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got Insight Design here tonight that's going to go over this final presentation for us.
We don't need the internet.
Thanks for having me here tonight. Again, my name is Mike Helmuth. I'm with Insight Design Studio. This is,
Yeah, Greg Scoldens with Nabholz Construction.
we'll be talking as well here in just a moment. Thanks again for having us here tonight. All right, there we are. I'll look over there. So again, that's us. All right, today we're talking about the updated status on the construction of multiple projects for the district. The new central office storage building, transportation building, additions and renovations, Waynesville Career Center renovations, and Freedom Elementary FEMA Safe Room addition. Make sure I'm still clicking. Okay, good. The new central office storage building, just under 7,500 square feet on the lower level, almost 4,500 on the upper level for just under 12,000 total square feet for that facility. $3.6 million budget came in at $305 a square feet. General district storage, what's included in is general district storage, district wellness center, district OPA, the food service, storage, district technology and information systems, offices, work and support spaces. It is scheduled to be completed in January of 2023. And then the nice pictures. This is for the oohing and eyeing portion of the evening. Alrighty. Transportation building additions and renovations. Two building additions, 5,134 square feet plus a little bit over 5,500 square feet of existing service bays that were being renovated for a total just over 11,000, $3.0 million for the budget at $265 a square foot. This will include new offices, a driver's lounge, other support spaces, and a new wash and tire service bays. The completion target, again, is also January of 2023. Temporary occupancy has been granted by the city for the district to move in on January the 18th. Again, pictures of the facility from the exterior and the interior. If I'm going too fast, you can always have me slow down, but we're going to blow through these. All right. Another construction. We have Waynesville Career Center, 5,236 square feet of renovation plus a new walk-in freezer cooler unit. This budget was $1.2 million, which came in at just under $230 a square feet. This is a complete renovation of the existing administrative staff suite, added secure vestibule to the inside of the existing main lobby, created vestibule for the Waynesville High School students, and attached a new walk-in cooler freezer to the building, thus eliminating the staff and students having to go outside to access that during the daily use. The punch list was October 20th, and temporary occupancy was granted by the city for the district to move in. And last but not least, the Freedom Elementary FEMA Safe Room Addition. We're at 8,280 square feet room addition plus 912 square feet for the mezzanine and a connector piece of just 674 for a total of just under 10,000 at 9,866 square feet. That budget is $4.3 million at $435 a square foot. The FEMA Safe Room also includes support spaces, a storage mezzanine, the connectors we spoke about, outdoor learning space, and a driveway back to the new parking lot. The completion is substantial completion of May 8th of 2023. And I will hand it over to Greg if there's no questions.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so Mike did a good job of updating you guys on all the projects, but I'm just going to do a couple of quick slides here on the support facilities project. So support facilities, this included the transportation project, as well as the storage building. Our original GMP, when we went to the market, was for those two particular projects. And then the district decided to add in the Career Center partway through our project. So that was the approved change order there. Original GMP on these projects was right at about $6.6 million, with the approved change order for the Career Center at 1.2. We're currently sitting at a GMP contract value of about $7.8 million. And that's on the support facilities. And then thank you again to the district for selecting us to be the CM agent on the Freedom FEMA shelter. And so that was a separate project. You can see that we went out to the market on that on March 1st and started construction back in August on this particular project, and currently set to complete in May, as Mike indicated. Original budget was the $4.1 million, and you can see the breakdown there between the FEMA portion as well as the non-FEMA portion. And then the district decided to add some parking lots and some drives for that additional scope change that added that additional almost $210,000, with a current GMP of just a little over $4.3 million on that particular project. Any questions for us? Anything we can add?
Comments or questions? Appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Okay, spring 2022 map and EOC update, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight I'm going to provide an update on our spring 2022 MAP and EOC scores. They've been delayed coming out from the state. So while we've had them internally for a little bit, they were just publicly released last week. So we do want to share our progress to date. This first slide looks at our ELA scores over 4 years, and really when we're looking at these are how each group performed every year. So these are just year-to-year comparisons of all students who were tested. And as you'll see, we saw increases over the previous year in 3rd grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and at English 2 at the high school. When we look at the state data, the state declined in almost every grade level, so we did outperform the state in ELA this year as far as increase in performance. One set of scores we don't have yet are our growth scores. There's another set of scores that comes out that looks at the progress of individual students over time, and the state is still finalizing those calculations. Typically, we meet or exceed the growth expectations for our students who we've had over multiple years. So as soon as we have those, we will share those. This slide shows the performance by building, and again, you can see those increases in 3rd and 5th grade at 6th grade center and at the high school. This slide shows how we performed as compared to the state this year. So you can see in ELA, we outperformed the state at every grade level. So we are very excited about that progress that we've made in English language arts. And also on this slide, you'll see our breakdown when we look at the breakdown on focus groups, and this is broken down by race, and we outperform the state in each of those focus group areas. In math, we saw increases at 3rd grade, 4th grade, and at Algebra 2. So we do have some work to do that we're refocusing on math as we move through this year and providing some additional training for our teachers. And the state did see some increases in math. And so again, we're working through some strategies and intervention plans with math. And these are our, this is the individual buildings performance. And again, you see that increase that we saw at 3rd grade and 4th grade. I do want to point out something that you could not tell from the previous slide, but our 8th grade students who took the Algebra 1 EOC did improve over the previous year, and Algebra 2 at the high school. And when we look at math, in 3rd through 6th grade, we do exceed the state average at each grade level in math. And then when we look at our individual student focus groups that are broken down by race, we did outperform the state in those as well. I'm going to move on to science. And in 5th grade, we saw an increase, a 4% increase over 2021. And then we did see some slight decreases in 8th grade and biology. However, when we look at our performance as compared to the state, we did outperform the state this year, and we were fairly flat as compared to the state. And our student focus groups also outperformed the state. Oh, I skipped right ahead there. On the government EOC at the high school, we saw an increase of about 6% this year, and then we also outperformed the state by about 13%. And then our student focus groups also outperformed the state. And this test looks a little bit different than some other tests. It's not as much about memorization anymore. The test changed last school year to be more about reading for information and analyzing and then answering questions, which is a little bit higher skill than just regurgitating information that you've memorized. The last slide that I'm going to share is some information on how some of our focus groups performed. And so when we look at our special education students, you can see that we outperformed the state in ELA, math, and science. And then our English learners also outperformed the state fairly significantly in ELA, math, and science. And we do not have scores to report for government for Waynesville because we don't have enough English learners that took the government EOC for that to be reported publicly. If there's not enough students in the group, they don't report those scores because you could then identify individual student scores potentially. So we are very proud of the progress that we have made, and I'm going to reiterate what Mrs. Bales said. You know, while these are numbers and data, these represent children and the learning that has occurred, and that means the hard work that our kiddos do in class, and then that hard work that our teachers do as they work with our students each and every day, and we are so proud of all of them. Questions?
Comments or questions? All right. Thank you, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you.
Fall sports report, Mr. Ace.
Thank you, Mr. President. And this is backwards, I believe. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go over a fall report. We'll start with academics, just to piggyback off of what we just kind of saw with MAP and EOCs and the work that our teachers and our students are doing in the classroom, followed by Tiger performance training, our competitive success, and then just some resources for communication to continue communication. First and foremost, if we look at our team GPAs, we did see an increase this year in our team GPAs from last fall to this fall. Last year we were at 3.32, and this year we have increased that to 3.38. In addition to that, we're also seeing a lot more of our student athletes reaching that all-conference, which is a 3.75 GPA. So we had 61 kids from the fall that met that all-conference GPA, which is a testament to the work that they're doing in the classroom. And then we had 27 that were within that 3.5 to 3.74 GPA range. This next slide is just a breakdown of where we had our student athletes and what sport across all fall sports. You can see, again, that number for all conference has increased tremendously. So next slide, I know that there's been some questions. There's been a lot of questions about Tiger Performance Training. Always as we have new transition, we'll get a lot of questions and field a lot of questions that come with TPT and kind of its purpose. So I just want to kind of reiterate some of the things that we're doing with TPT and the reasons that we do them. First and foremost, injury-wise, recovery, both prevention injury-wise, the weight room and strength and condition is extremely important. The data is showing that. And just in addition to that, the transition from that activity over into the classroom is extremely important as well. There's recall, memory, advantages for individuals that are physically active continuously and consistently. And in addition to that, the anxiety and depression, that physical training, that strength and training, helps that social emotional piece as well. So I'm just reiterating, the why, why we push Tiger Performance Training and why we do want our student athletes in there, is it's beneficial for them. It's beneficial for them later on in life. And recently we've been seeing a lot of kids that are actually clinging to just the strength and conditioning and the weight room itself. We have had a few athletes that have set state records in the last couple of years. And there is a club now that has formed based off of TPT that they're staying after school and they're doing some powerlifting and Olympic style lifting, which is another avenue for those kids who may not be, your typical student athlete. They may not be a football player, they may not be a basketball player or wrestler, and they just, they like the weight room and they enjoy it. So another avenue for them. Just to field some of the questions, I worked with Marianne Ward and myself worked with some of those TPT frequently asked questions that we get. First question we always get is, do you make it mandatory for your student athletes? It would have been 4 years ago now that we did say, hey, we want a 70% participation expectation for our student athletes that are varsity caliber. So yes, we do encourage our kids to be in the weight room. And obviously we want to see them make gains and be physically fit and prepared for when the season comes, and prevention of injury. So we do set that expectation. A lot of times we get questions about how they can meet that. We do have several avenues of how they can meet that. The most typical and what kids are really clinging to is the class time and taking advantage of that class, whether it's 1 semester or 2 semesters, and or the off season, the off season stuff that they do as well. But class is one option. We do have 2 other time slots that TPT is offered, really Monday through Thursday, pretty much every week of the year, with the exception of holidays. So there's 2 time slots, 6:30 a.m. and then of course after school from 2:45 to 3:30. And then the last one is we do have 2 summer sessions that we have as well. So pretty much every week during June and July, with the exception of Dead Week and our 4th of July holiday week. I'm going to kind of pair 3 and 4 together. How our kids often, we do have kids that travel. We're extremely flexible with that, and there are several avenues for them to meet that 70% expectation. So a lot of the questions that we do get are, if they're at a camp, if they're at another competition, etc., does that count, and is it punitive towards them? We would never want to make anything punitive towards a kid that they're trying to go out and better themselves beyond, whether athletically, academically, whatever it may be. But we do ask that that both kids and parents are proactive in that communication so that we know where those kids are. When it does come down to it, attendance is a big issue when we look at as far as kids, participating on a team and or a sport. So that proactive communication is extremely important. And we are flexible. We want kids to have other experiences. We want them to go out to different camps. But we also want to see our kids as much as possible and be able to work with them as much as possible. And that last one, just to piggyback off of 3 and 4, there would never be any punitive actions that would ever be taken for a kid that wasn't able to attend something. We know we are transitioning community. We have kids that sometimes go away for a whole month, in another state. So we do encourage that. If we do have multi-sport athletes that are in 2 sports, we do work really hard for the tremendous calendar and the opportunities that we provide our kids over the summer to not have conflicts. That's not always possible, but if there is a conflict with a sport or 2 activities, obviously, coaches know that there's no punitive action for that. As long as they're doing something, that's the main goal. This is just some of the data showing why, we push TPT. If you can see here and look at the data, the 2021, we had 154 injuries. This is just fall. And if you look 21, 22, we decreased that a little bit. And then this year, we had less than 100 injuries that were throughout the fall. So the more we've increased this, the longer this expectation has gone on. We're seeing much less decreases and a lot less serious injuries. As far as competitive success, we have had this added to, but we can see that we had 19 all-conference individuals this fall. We had 14 all-districts, and then we had 2 on this slide, but just this last weekend, we were informed that we had 4 football players that made all-region selection as well. So I think that's the most all-region and or sectional student athletes that we've had in the last 5 years. So 6 now, and potentially some of those going for all-state. In addition, we did have 2 all-state choir members. Blaze and Viola both were all-state in choir. And then we had 2 that were honorable, our CDME, which is basically district concert choir. We had 8, and then honor choir we had 2, and then when we looked at all district band, and we had 14, and of course those 2 all-state choir members. And that is just recent as well. 2 of our all-region were Luther Sapanzik for cross country and Alyssa Hillman for softball. In addition to that, the 4 football players were Nico Fowl, Chase Thomas Plummer, Isaiah Hopper, and then Michael Kelsey. We did have a soccer player this year, Fahim Mojahid, who was all-conference co-player of the year, which is, if you look at our conference in soccer, we have some really good teams, state-ranked teams, and that's a testament to his hard work and everything that he's done. So we want to congratulate him for that as well. And then last all-conference, we would like to take the opportunity right now to present Coach Thornburg with recognition of his all-conference Coach of the Year. I'll speak for Coach for a little bit. I know that the team came a long way this year. Coach put a lot of work in, took over this year, and did a tremendous job with those kids, just creating a positive culture for them. So I know he's going to give credit to all those kids first, because that's what he does. But we want to recognize him and make sure that he's recognized for all the work that he did. So I'll go ahead and add, because the All-States come and go, depending on when coaches are able to meet. But we do have an addition. Fahim will also be honored as All-State too. So not only All-Region Co-Player of the Year for conference, but All-State. And then competitive success, we do have 2 student athletes that have signed to go on. Sky Scott will be going to Mineral Area to play soccer. And then Luther Sapanzik will be going to SBU to run cross country. Lastly, we'll talk just about some communication and ways for you to stay in the know. If you look at our Twitter account, we've had a lot of activity on our Twitter account. Essentially everything goes out on our athletic Twitter account. So if you're ever looking for anything, it's there. In addition to that, each team kind of has their own platform. They do have a team remind. Some of them do have their own Twitter accounts. And then, of course, we have Huddle for football specifically, and then Canvas. Some of the teams are using Canvas. In addition to that, this year I've been doing a monthly AD update. So that kind of goes out. Coaches are sharing that information out with their parents and their kids each season and each month that we come up. And basically it's snapshotting some of those important areas. Like right now we'll kind of move forward and we'll talk about kind of eligibility. That is an important area right now as we move forward. So we have received some questions about eligibility over the last couple weeks, and essentially the rule is students must pass all first semester classes in order to participate during the second semester and compete. Now we do offer student athletes that may not make that eligibility. They're still able to participate, but they're not able to compete. So we do have that. There's some expectations. Obviously, we want them involved. That's the goal. So the more they're involved, the better their grades are, as we can see with our GPAs. And then lastly, just our winter season passes and gate info. All Waynesville R6 school staff and their families do get into competitions free, so we'd love to see you out at our regular season competitions. In addition to that, all Waynesville R6 school employees that have an ID, if they go to away games that are conference games, they get in free. Families would not be free, but the individual that works for the school district would get into those competitions free. We do have all student athletes get in free to competitions, and then we do have a $10 student pass that gets kids into any and every competition that we have throughout the year. And then lastly, our season passes, they are up and online. If you look down at the picture there to the right, that is the website for our season passes, and they can be purchased online on our website and our athletic website. And that is it. I had a question slide, but.
Is there an update on the team store going in at the local grocery store?
Yes, so they are in the process of getting prints and everything. Hopefully here within the next, I would say the first of the year was their goal to kind of get everything. But yes, it is going in at Price Cutter, and we'll be able to purchase gear there. And that you guys obviously signed off on it. So it will be great for our community to be able to go grab something, just physically grab something and pull it.
Other comments or questions? Thank you, Mr. Race.
All right, thank you guys.
2023 summer school proposal, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's that time to start talking about summer school. So we are bringing our summer school proposal for first reading, and we'll bring it next month for approval. Our 2023 summer school program will be conducted from June 1st to June 29th. And if approved, then we will go with those dates. Summer school locations will be determined based on enrollment numbers. We do not anticipate having to combine schools, but if enrollment numbers dictated that, then we would look at doing that. Breakfast and lunch will be served at each site. And we will also be offering a limited number of virtual courses for the high school level. Pending approval in January, we will start the summer school enrollment process in early March.
Comments or questions? Thank you, Dr. Atkins. Job descriptions, first reading, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached proposed job description is presented for your review as a first reading. 4.05.1, school bus driver. 4.13.4, food services lunch program secretary. 5.02.3, school bus aide. The administration will request approval at the regular January Board of Education meeting.
All right, thank you. Community Resource Office update, Mrs. Long.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to give you just a brief update on the Community Resource Office. And here you'll see a list of the current grants managed by the Community Resource Office. We'll kind of step through each of those a little bit in depth as I go through the report. The first slide just shows the managed funds for each of the grant, both the grant funding that we receive and the district cash match for each one. The CRO does have 4 staff, or you can see the comparison of staff members here. Currently still has 4 staff members, district staff members. Tina Rowden is the coordinator of grants management, and they currently have 32 AmeriCorps members, 4 Vista members. Last summer, we had 28 Vista Summer Associates. Of course, don't know what that number will be until this summer. And then currently have 54 staff members working at Club Tiger and or WIN after school programs. Real first, AmeriCorps, you can see some of the numbers here about students that were serviced by AmeriCorps members and the performance gains that they showed over the past year. And I just want to highlight, this has been, they did a great job. They did training along with our teachers to really learn to implement a lot of the district interventions that we've been using. And those members are just such a great resource to be able to have an extra person to help with those interventions in the classrooms, to pull small groups and individuals aside. And you can see that's definitely evidenced by their the gains that the students made. The VISTA program, VISTA members, again, volunteers in service to America. This is known as the Domestic Peace Corps. Their work is less of a direct service and more of a project base. They are VISTA's work on projects and developing projects within communities. And so you can see just some of the, they not only serve in our district, but they also serve in many community areas that would like to have this VISTA workers in them. And so we've had many of them go into different community areas to provide, a lot of their primary service is to address low socioeconomic needs as well as education needs. Like within some of those theater programs, they're providing youth theater programs for students in the community. The CRO office also manages our volunteer program for the district, and we are just so excited to see the re-engagement of volunteers within the school year. You can see, obviously, it's a little bit of apples to oranges because of what has been allowed in the past few years, but already 515 registered volunteers just this school year, and I believe we had about 60 more in the hopper getting ready to come through, hopefully be approved in the next few weeks and so. So, you know, that number's rapidly growing up again, and we're already at 1,437 hours this year. So it's just been great to see that re-engagement in the buildings of volunteers with so many different projects that we have. Unfortunately, last year, because of the limited opportunities, we didn't have a lot earn those honors that we normally have, but we really look forward to recognizing we've already got some that have met those hours already, some really hardworking individual volunteers, so we really look forward to celebrating them again this spring. After school enrollment, you can see here the attendance in the after school programs. Club Tiger still offered at both East and Freedom sites as a really affordable after school program for our students. And then the 6th grade center and middle school WIN program, as well as the high school WIN program. These programs, the 6th through 12th grade is funded by the Army Youth Programs in Your Network grant. and they have really, that's allowed us to really expand some of their offerings and work to increase student engagement in those. We have some really popular interest clubs. There's a Harry Potter club that has phenomenal interest at the middle school. Esports at both the high school and middle school now. Middle school has started a musical, a group that did a musical last spring. They're going to do some one acts, which is a unique experience for middle school students to have that ability through the after school program. And they've also started work on 6th through 8th grade instrumental music, providing them more opportunities to get some smaller group and individual instruction after school, and then high school's looking to start some large, small ensembles, I guess is what you call them, large or small, not the big band, but not the little ones, the ones in between, a brass, a woodwind, and I believe a percussion ensemble this spring. So I think there's a much better word for that, but it's not coming right now. The Department of Defense grants, we currently have 2. We are at the very end of our Project Edge grant, which was the one, if you remember, with robotics and coding, and so helped start and implement those programs. They're going well. Attendance at the elementary level has been great. Attendance at the 6th through 8th grade is rebounding. We had some staffing changes and updates there, but we've seen really strong participation lately in students at that age. And we also really hope, you know, as they go in, that they continue to participate in these programs as they go up. And so you can just see a little bit about those programs. We're also still running our STEM-infused classroom here at the middle school, where the students pull out and go to that classroom once a day. And then we also have been able to run that program throughout summer school, which has been really a neat thing to expose more students to that program for the past few summers. Project Impart is our math grant that we just began last year. This is actually our first year of implementation. So in August, we hosted training here on site provided by Solution Tree for teachers of mathematics, secondary mathematics teachers, and then elementary teachers as well. Teachers who attended that professional development could choose some math manipulatives that would be paid for out of the grant for them to actually, you know, we learned how to use these things, let's give them to them, and so they've received those. We've spent about $20,000 in those supplies out of that grant for math manipulatives for those teachers, and you know, it's just been really exciting. This professional development is so popular. They wanted, many that attended in August wanted some more of it, so we brought some back on our PD day, and then that group will also be attending this year at the very end of the year, right whenever we're out in May. They'll be attending another set of PD then, and then it goes into next year, and some additional training next year combined with some actual like lab setting where the trainers do teaching with the teachers and get some live coaching with their math teaching as well next year. One thing that we're really proud of right now is AmeriCorps. They are currently at 100% enrollment. That is just phenomenal. In this job market, to find people to go into service whenever they could really probably find some very competitive jobs, honestly, is just, it speaks volumes to the people in the heart for their service that they're out there serving, and we have filled all of the positions. They actually also opened up AmeriCorps last year to high school students of a certain age to be able to apply and serve, and just tonight, I went by and I saw they were doing the paperwork. They were figuring out how to fill out their tax papers, the 2 high schoolers that are going to start and fill some after-school slots and working Club Tiger with our students. So that's exciting, a new piece of that program as well. The VISTA program, you can see the updates on that, and again, after school, I mentioned earlier, you know, those interest-based clubs, particularly for secondary, we're really excited to see that grow. As I mentioned, Project Edge is in its final year and Project Impart in its first year, and you can just see the goals of that Project Impart grant that we are beginning to kick off in a very timely fashion. Thank you. Any questions?
Ms. Long, with Project Edge ending and the robotics and coding, is there a plan to to try and sustain that for our kids that are interested?
Yeah, we're really fortunate because that APIN grant will continue to support the funding for the staff members to serve in those roles, you know, to pay them for their time, and also to, as long as it is still sustains and is renewed by the Army and the government, then it will continue to help provide, you know, the money for their supplies as well. We were able to make the large purchases, but as we all know, like, well, I guess we don't all know, as I've learned, robots change through the years and you have to buy new ones in different parts and projects.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Any comments or questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Long. MSBA policy and procedure updates. First reading, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. Attached for the board's review and consideration are the following policy and procedure updates, which have been through the TABS committee review and revision process. Any comments or suggestions will be accepted between now and the January regular meeting, when they will be resubmitted for board action and adoption.
We'll move to action items. Job description, second reading. Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached proposed job description is presented for your review as a second reading. 4.08.8 Student Information Specialist, 4.20.1 School Custodian, 4.20.3 Head Custodian. The administration requests approval of the above job descriptions as presented.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion? Mr. Deering makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Rouse, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. MSBA John T. Belcher Scholarship nominee. In 1990, the Missouri School Board Association established the Student Scholarship Program in memory of John T. Belcher, who was instrumental in developing incentive financial programs for Missouri school districts. The learning environment for thousands of Missourians' public school students were improved as a result of his work. Presently, Future Builders, MSBA's educational foundation, supports this program, which awards close to $15,000 in scholarships to students in MSBA's member districts annually. Awards close to $15,000, excuse me. A $750 scholarship is awarded to the winner in each of MSBA's 17 regions. From that group, a statewide winner is selected and receives an additional $750. Applicants are judged on the basis of academic performance, extracurricular activities, and the quality of an essay. This year's nominees have been narrowed down to the following three candidates: Olivia Evans, Kasari Garcia, and Jordan Nitcham. The board has voted and made a decision that Jordan will be the recipient or the nominee for our district. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Motion carries. Proposed 2023-24 school year calendar, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 2023-2024 proposed calendar is being presented for approval. This calendar has school starting on August 21st, with the last day of school being May 24th. This year's calendar also features a week-long Thanksgiving break for our students. Our winter break will be December 21st to January 2nd for students and teachers. January 3rd is an in-service day for teachers, but no school for students, and students would return on January 4th. And spring break, March 18th to March 22nd. First semester would end on December 20th, and then the last day of school again would be May 24th. Request a motion to approve as presented.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I'm get a motion.
Mr. Quinn makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Deering, second. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0 motion carries. Music renewal, Dr. Cobb.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration seeks approval of the music renewal for 2023.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Brown motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Deering, second. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0 motion carries. Student Information System, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our current student information system is Tyler SIS. In August of this year, Tyler informed districts that the Tyler SIS student information system would be discontinued and districts would need to transition to a system with another company as they would not be offering a replacement product. Again, this is not something we sought to do, but this was something that due to the discontinuation of the product, we have to look for a new system. So after a review of available systems, the committee is recommending the adoption of the PowerSchool Student Information System. Approval tonight will allow transition and implementation activities to begin upon submission of the signed contract, which would allow us to be ready for implementation for the 2023-2024 school year.
Have any comments or questions? Do I have a motion? Mr. Darren makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Farnum, second. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0 motion carries. Closed session, closed record, closed vote is allowed by RSMO 610.021. Closed section 3, hiring, firing, and discipline or promotion of employees, and section 13, individual personnel records, performance ratings. Do I have a motion to enter closed session?
Mr. President, I make that motion.
Quinn makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ralph, second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We are enclosed.